In this video, I'm going to show you the best campaign structure to get the best possible results from your Facebook ads. How you set up your campaign is extremely important, and where you put your cold audiences and your warm audiences within your ad account is also highly important. So in this video, that is what I'm going to discuss and break down for you. Now, when setting up your campaigns, there's typically two campaign structures that are most widely recommended. And I have showed examples of these two campaign structures here. The first one that is, I'd say, most common is retargeting method A, where you have 80% of your ad spend allocated to cold audiences, people who have not heard of your brand, not heard of your business, and you're looking to advertise to those people. And then you're allocating 20% of your advertising budget to retargeting audiences. So there's warm audiences. So that could be people who have engaged with your website and visited your Facebook page, your Instagram page, for example. Now, so for example, with the retargeting method A that we have here, with an overall campaign budget of £100 per day, we would have £80 per day here within the cold audience, and then we'd have £20 per day within the retargeting audience. Now, I've got the most amount of value and performance will come from the warm audience, but of course you need to continue to feed the warm audience by finding people who are engaged and familiar with the brand. So that is why we, of course, need the cold audience campaign there as well, to drive more people to the website and engage with the Facebook page. So that's the rationale behind that campaign structure. However, from our experience and from our own testing, it's certainly not optimal, as we tend to opt for retargeting method B. Now, in retargeting method B, we have the cold audiences and the warm audiences within the same campaign. So if you were to click into retargeting method B, which is the campaign structure that we would recommend, at a starting ad budget of £100 per day, this is the sort of structure that we would recommend and would be typical. So we would have 4 cold audiences. These could be detailed targeting options, lookalike audiences, perhaps based on previous customers or website visitors. And these would be in 4 different ad sets. So, for example, 2 of the cold audiences ad sets could be lookalike audiences, and 2 of the cold audience ad sets could be detailed targeting options. And then in the 5th ad set, we would have the retargeting audiences and the warm audiences. And this would be people who have visited the website in the last 180 days, engaged with the Facebook page, Instagram page in the last 365 days, and also previous CSV file of your customer list and your email list as well. So as much information as possible that Facebook would allow of all the people who are familiar with your brand and have engaged with your brand in the past. Now, the advantage of having the cold audiences and the warm audiences all within the same campaign is that the ad spend can be allocated the most efficiently and effectively within the campaign, because in the other example, retargeting campaign A, there was an 80-20 split, but whether that 80-20 split and that ratio is correct will depend on many different factors. For example, if you're selling a £20 t-shirt, there would have to be much less retargeting involved, because it's a very relatively inexpensive product and may not need too many touch points with your Facebook ads, too many, you need to see the ads too many times in order for them to purchase. However, if you're selling a £400 bed, for example, the retargeting is much more important. So with the £400 bed example, you may need a higher proportion in your retargeting audience. It could be a 70-30 split or 60-40 split, for example. And so that really does depend on the offer that you are promoting. Additionally, the size of your retargeting audiences is very important. So how many people have visited your website in the last 180 days? If that's hundreds of thousands of people, then there's a lot of potential to carry out retargeting and get a highly effective campaign. And so that could be higher than 20% of your allocated ad spend could be going to retargeting audiences. However, if you have a new website, then you may not have a big enough retargeting audience in order to carry out 20% of that allocated ad spend. And so having the cold audiences within the same campaign as the retargeting audiences is certainly likely to overall drive that best cost per purchase and ROAS for your campaign. Now, some of you watching this video may be thinking that if you have the retargeting audiences within the same campaign as the cold audiences, then all of the ad spend will be going to the retargeting audiences because that's most likely to result in the most amount of sales because it's the warmest audience and is likely to be the most effective audience. However, that's not necessarily the case, as if the audiences are within a campaign budget optimization campaign, CBO campaign, or an advantage campaign budget optimization campaign, which is now called, then the ad spend will be allocated to the audiences which are performing best. And Facebook will also consider the frequency numbers. So you can see that the frequency number here within this column, and that would be considering how many times on average, if we hover over there, it would be considering the average number of times that each person saw your ad. So if for example, the retargeting ad sets and the retargeting audiences are getting shown too many times by too many people, then Facebook will automatically allocate more ad spends to other audiences, as that's likely to perform best. So that is the advantage of having one campaign with your cold audiences and retargeting audiences within one campaign budget optimization campaign. One final point is that the size of these retargeting audiences will change. So as you're running ads to these cold audiences, the size of the people visiting your website and the size of people who have engaged with your Facebook and Instagram pages will increase and change over time. And so that optimal allocation between cold audience versus retargeting audiences will also change. So I hope you found that valuable and was insightful around how best to structure your campaigns, as it's extremely important to do this optimally and correctly. So to clarify, from our own experience, it's certainly best to have one campaign with campaign budget optimization turned on. And then within that campaign, you have 2 to 4 ad sets, which all have cold audiences within them. And then you have another ad set with all of your warm audiences and retargeting audiences within them. Then that overall will allow Facebook to allocate the ad spend that will result in the lowest cost per purchase, assuming that is what you're optimizing for, of course. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and a share. I would really appreciate that. Also, one final thing before you go, I'd like to tell you about one thing that helps you get much better results from your Facebook ads. We are currently offering free digital marketing strategy sessions. During this call, we analyze your business and develop a winning digital marketing strategy, which is likely to generate much better results from your paid advertising campaigns. To book one of these calls, simply click on the link in this video or in our bio, and we will be able to develop a digital marketing strategy which is specifically tailored towards your business. Thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.